Good morning. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. It is my very first video ever, so yay for trying new things. Well, it's a nice Monday morning and we don't have school today, so I thought I would try something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Since I started using Seint makeup, I wanted to try half of the face with Seint and half of my face doing it the old way, just so I could kind of see a comparison and show to everybody how much better I think it looks doing it this new way. So today that is what I am going to do. Now, I never have been really big at wearing makeup. As you'll be able to see, I didn't have a lot of products or anything like that. And I'm definitely not an expert in any shape or form. So before, what I used to do is I would just always have some kind of foundation or tinted moisturizer or something like that. This one was the Even Better makeup. And I would use it on, quote, special occasions. And I did not have a makeup brush or anything like that. I would just use my fingers to kind of rub it in. Oops, let's see. It's hard to do just half your face. But this is kind of what I would do. Is just rub it in almost like lotion. Because like I said, I wasn't one, like in high school and college and stuff, sometimes I would do a little bit of eye makeup as I would, but I really wasn't much into doing like a lot or fancy, and so I just never really learned. And I still don't know a lot, and I'm still working on it. But that's one of the great things I think about the Seint makeup is it's so fun to play with, that I feel like I can just kind of play with it and experiment, and it's so easy to get a good look. Okay. That looks pretty. I have a mirror over here, so I'm trying to make sure I got it all fairly what I would have thought of as blended in. So I would just put that on. And then as far as my eyes go, I was really simple. I just usually stuck to pretty plain, sometimes in the brown tones. And so I would just put a little bit of, this one's just a plain cream colored thing here. And I'd put that all over, and I'd put the number 2 one that it said to put on your eyelid. I'd put that there, and then I'd put a little bit of the darker one right here. And that was about it for my eye. I put on a little bit of mascara. And then I was really against any type of shine or shimmer or dewiness or anything. So I would always go back over it with some loose powder that I had. Try to get a little bit of the extra off there. Just to make sure that not a single drop of shine or shimmer would show up. I think that's probably just how I grew up, was that anything that I thought of as dewy or shiny meant that you had shiny skin or oily skin. And so I just really always wanted to make sure that I covered all of that up. Okay. And that was it. that's about all I did. I usually didn't ever put on blush or anything at all like that. So, it's a pretty natural look, but you know, if you were looking close up, you could see the foundation. You know, it just wasn't super. It was okay. It wasn't great. So once I started using Seint, it did take me a little bit. The reason I really wanted to switch was I've always had fairly dark circles under my eyes. And I was really interested in their demi color. And so that's what got me started. And I learned so much, like do your eyes first so that you won't have that fallout under the under eye area if you were like when I did my color correction and everything. Another thing I learned to do was that I like filling in my eyebrows. I don't have a specific eye primer, so I have been using the lightest highlight that I have on my Seint palette, which is Aura. And so I just tap in a little bit with my brush and put a little on there just to even out the colors of my eyelid. I've heard about some different really great eye shadow primers that I'd like to try, but you know, on a budget, sometimes you just kind of do with what you got for a little while until you can save up and do some more. So today for an eyeshadow look, I'm gonna go not super glitzy, but not just as plain as this side. And today the colors I have picked out, I've got down here in my palette, and I have them sampled here on my hand, if you can see that. Whoops, it'll focus, there it goes. And I have here Lullaby, and then Kiln, and Gilded, and Soulmate. So that's what I'm going to use. So another thing is I don't have all of my Seint brushes yet, but I have just this little one that I got on Amazon, and so far they seem to be working okay. So I'm just gonna go in with my lightest color and give it a nice little wash all over. And then I'm going to take my second lightest color, and this one is Gilded, and I'm going to apply just a little bit just above my crease, just because I have, that's a little bit much, just because I have a little bit, starting to get a little bit of a hooded eye, and so if I put it right in the crease, you can't see it. So I like to bring it up just a smidge and just kind of windshield wiper it in there. And blend it a little bit. Like I said, I am definitely not an expert at this point, but it's been fun to kind of play with it and see what different things I can get. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of my darkest color here, which is Kiln, and I heard somewhere to put it, I know it's kind of like a V, but somebody said if you kind of put like upside down 7, to me for some reason that made sense. And then fill in the spot in between there. So just a little in the corner there. And then I'm gonna go back and put just a little under on my lash line. I'm really bad at this part still. There we go. And then I like to use my finger just to put a little bit of the sparkle right there in the center. Kind of blend it in a little bit. and then go in with my mascara. See, messes up. So that's why it's good to not have done your under eye makeup yet. If I blink. Okay, there we go. Don't worry, we'll clean up that corners and everything a little bit when I do some of my color correcting. Okay, one thing I absolutely love about Seint is the Demi color correctors. And I have them here, and they help so much. And you know, tomorrow they are going to have, on Seint Artist's birthday, they are having some Demi color correcting edits that they're coming out with, where they pre-matched some of these for different concerns that you might have. So check that out. But I go with just a little tiny bit of the Orange 5, the 05, and then I mix it with the 03. Now some people mix it on their hand. I've tried that and I felt like I was just kind of almost wasting a lot, because then it ended up on my hand, and I've kind of figured out exactly how much I need when I put it right there. But you can see it just kind of makes that darkness under my eye disappear compared to the other side. So love that. And then I go in with a little bit of the Orange 1, which is the brightest, and put just a little there, and like right up close to my lash line, and then just in the corner there. And when I do that, it just gives me a nice little bit of lift. Just feathered in. This is the detail brush. It allows you to put that color corrector exactly where you need it. And then I just pat it in to set it, just real gentle. So you can see it just gives a nice little brightness under there. And just makes my whole under eye area look fantastic. The other thing that I color correct is I have always had a lot of redness in my face, and as I've gotten older, it's definitely gotten worse, and I've started getting some of those little broken capillaries that might go along with rosacea. So I take the, I think, is it red orange or orange red? Look and see. Oh, yellow orange, sorry, Y01, and I will put just a tiny little bit here around my broken capillaries and a couple spots in my cheek. And I just feather that in. And it really just helps to make all that redness disappear. I go in with my highlight foundation, or my lighter highlight, which is June. As you can see, I've almost used it up. And I will put just a little bit here in the center where I want to lighten. Go. And then I'll dip into my main color, which is amber. And I'll put it here. So I know a lot of times you'll come and see videos because you've seen that whole cheetah method or the stripes or different things. I found personally that that did not work as well for me. I like to kind of buff in my colors here and then go back over with my highlight and my contour and bronzer and everything. For me, it just works better. It didn't get as like muddy looking. Okay, and then take a wet sponge. I'm so excited in my artist kit that I am getting. tomorrow it comes with a perfector sponge, so I'm excited to try that instead of this little one I just got at TJ Maxx. That just really helps push it into the skin, and then when you're getting up close, it looks like your skin instead of makeup. Okay, so then I take a little bit of my contour color, which I use the one Henna. It's the one I was color matched to. And I just put a little bit up here on my forehead. And then I put a little bit here on my cheek line. Now, before I started using Seint, I had never used contour before in my life, ever. And so I'm still learning, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's not, I don't know, not too bad. So just blend enough to take off the harsh lines, because you don't want to blend it so much that you actually take all that nice a little bit of color out. So just enough to take away harsh lines. Oops. And then blend in down here a little bit. Okay, and then I go in with my bronzer, which is Bella. And I have two of them next to each other. I learned this hack from, or trick from the great Michelle Spieler, so that you can use your big, fat, fluffy bronzer brush and not have to squeeze it in there or get other things. And then I do a little bit on my forehead here and a little bit on my cheeks. And then I go on my neck to kind of make, oops. There you go. Just add a little bit of warmth there. Which I had never used bronzer before either. So lots of new things. And then, and you can tell, I also didn't use blush like 90% of the time, 95% of the time before. I always figured since I had so much redness in my face, I shouldn't use blush. And now I'm trying to not be quite so scared of it and enjoy it. So the blush today, I'm gonna dip into a little bit of, I have the Sangria with my blush brush and just put a little bit up here. And I always put a little tiny bit more than I think I need, because since my skin is so red that even just a little bit of tapping, I'll show you on this side. I don't have any blush on here. This was just the powder. If I even just tap my skin with a brush, it starts to bring up some redness there. And so when I put the blush on, I have to put it on just a tiny bit heavier than I think I need it, because once the redness from the tapping disappears, then I don't have nearly as much as I thought I did. Another really pretty color that I am loving is Desert Sunset, which is a little bit more of a semi-gloss or shimmery. And so sometimes I'll put a little bit of that on the top as well, just because I like the shimmeriness in there, as you can see. Okay. And then for my very last thing, I will use a little bit of the illuminator. I have the one rose gold. I'll put a little bit on my finger and just kind of tap it in that inner corner of my eye. And then I like a little bit right here and there. And a lot of people put it on their cheeks. I am just going to leave it off. As I said, I'm still used to a more flat look, and so getting super shiny everywhere is something I'm just still working on. Not shiny, glowing. And so it's a little bit something I'm not quite used to yet, so I haven't done that. And then I am going to put on a little bit of lip color. So I'm going to use that desert sunset here on this side. And since I do want a little bit more pigment to that today, I'm going to put a little bit of the sangria on top as well. Same too that I used for my cheeks. And to be fair to the other side, I'm going to put on what was my absolute favorite lipstick. They don't make it anymore, but I have a little left over. This is what I used to wear every single day. And I'm using my finger because it's like to the end. So there you have it, my half and half. I can totally tell the difference in how it makes my skin look and everything. You can see up close. This one still looks like skin. I mean, you can see some of my freckles and things, which doesn't bother me. This one's much more flat, and you can tell even now, hasn't been very long, but it's already kind of wearing off. It doesn't look quite as good. So hope you enjoyed that, and join me again for some more fun tips and tricks and makeup tutorials.